Golden Super on Moss Fun, I think 2014. You'd love to win the race
I'll win
again.
it this year.
James McDonald has jumped up on this $1.6 million yearling Woden. That's what they paid for him as a yearling at the Magic Millions. This 2-year-old by Wootton Bassett.
McDonald's taking him through his gears and he looms big danger. Woden surges up on the outside at the furlong and he quickly put them away. Up goes Woden, gets away from the Magic Man, and with 100 metres to go after the slow start he recovers and he wins in style. Woden brilliantly. 3 lengths to the Magic Man.
But he did surprise you just how well and easy he did it.
No.
How long ago did you sit on him?
I've sat on him a couple of times now, and he thought he's the real deal, and he's just got the most pure action, unbelievable demeanour about him, and it's going to take him a long way. You've just seen how he handled that. He wasn't quick away. He just managed to slot him, control, and then use a turn of foot. You wait to see him on good ground.
Hello and welcome back to another year or another season of the Golden Path. We'll be covering the autumn. This week I'm covering for Ali Mosley, just warming the seat as I welcome in my co-panellists. We've got Ron Dufficy and Nick Berney just on Woden. We know he's good, but we still don't know how to say his name.
Yeah, that's right. It's Woden, I've heard Woden. We don't know. We know one thing, it's not Woden.
Well, we know he's a bit of a rock star too.
Well, it's going to change week to week. Where does the slipper fit? At this stage, the punters are saying it's him, but he got a bit of a task there on Saturday. We'll see how good he really is, I would have thought, Nick.
Yeah, hello to you, Brad, Ron, and everyone watching in. He has to be the benchmark and the starting point, Woden. And the $3, yes, it's skinny enough this far out, but he just could blitz them again on Saturday because that debut win, which we'll have a look at soon, was just ultra impressive.
Yeah, good to see you got the memo as well, Nick,
yes.
And you've got the gold tie on.
I got the text early this morning and then I just had to go hunting for a gold tie, but here we are.
He's a fast learner. So we're only 5 weeks away from the Golden Slipper, guys, so we've got a little bit to catch up on. The last time we had this show we were talking golden gifts, and I don't think the name Woden was even spoken about though at that early stage, but as it currently stands, this is what the market does look like, and you can see there Woden is your $3 favourite, as Nick did suggest, at Belmercy, who we get to see go head-to-head against Woden there on Saturday in the Silver Slipper, North England. There's got to be a story there, so he's been scratched off from Saturday.
Yeah, it was probably scratched, just not long ago. We're doing this show on Thursday afternoon, so it does say vet certificate next to him, but I'm sure we'll find out more to that story, in the next, by tomorrow morning anyway.
Yeah, and west of Swindon there is a $17 chance, Nick.
Yeah, massive chance, especially I think with the scratching on Saturday of North England. Maybe West of Swindon now just goes bang, third fence, and we'll really see that horse. Listening to Ron earlier, I agree with you. I think grand final day we'll see the best, obviously, of West of Swindon, but I think it's going to be forward enough to run a good race there on Saturday.
Well, the one thing in the favour of North England is that he has already guaranteed him a spot in the Golden Slipper. So we'll have a look now at an order of entry. You can see him up the top there, having won the Golden Gift, $603,000 for him. A Carrion Dream, the Playwright, My Gladiola, as you run your eye down. The interesting thing about this to date, as we have a look at the second page, is where Woden currently sits. So you'd think all being equal, he'll earn his way in. But at the moment, he's equal 23rd. Yeah,
well, he didn't win one of the big prize money races. And there is a little bit suspect the race he won, but you can only do what he did on that occasion. He just the manner he went about his work.
Yeah, 100% right. So let's have a look at that Silver Slipper. So first things first, before we get to the Golden Slipper, this is an important stepping stone. There's a lot of them, the ballot exempt races towards that Golden Slipper. Of course, there's plenty of them, but that Silver Slipper, $1.95 after the scratching of North England. At Belmercy, $3.70, west of Swindon, $5, and then you're out to $11 for Gambler, who does return a gelding, and he was a bit of an eye-catcher in a couple of his trials. So let's have a chat about Woden. Now, we know that Saturday isn't grand final day, which does make him a little bit dangerous when you're assessing him as a $1.95 favourite, but to this point, Duff, he's clearly the benchmark 2-year-old.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I think he's just got an aura about him. He's like a 3-year-old. He's got a great personality about him. Nothing phases him. And that's only with one look at him. You can just tell he's the complete racehorse. And he couldn't do much more than this, Nick.
No, and the acceleration for me, so breaking down that 400, 200 metre split on a soft 7, I know he got to the best ground first use of it. He ran a 10.76 on a soft 7, and then we heard James McDonald just say what he can do on good ground, so that's pretty frightening. So I think everyone knows it from a figures perspective. He's clearly the benchmark 2-year-old, but just his closing speed, and I think he's been improving at every start we've seen him between trials.
And this is his trial. He just has a little day. Look, the worry about Saturday, I think he had a week in the paddock after the win, so it's all about they know he's a slipper colt, and we know Chris likes to peak him on the big days. So I wouldn't think he's going the races 100% wound up. He's got an outside draw. Chris Waller wide draw is negative. Rail out, 1100, Rose Hill. If we don't get any rain, it's going to be hard to make ground. So what are we going to be saying next week about him? I don't know.
You just feel like I've seen this story before.
Yes.
But look, he's just got so much ability, and I think he can overcome it with that closing speed. So that's I do like him.
His raw talent's going to take him a long way. So one of his main opposition there on Saturday is going to be the filly. She won the Gym Crack. Now, as they say with 2-year-olds, Duff, you've got them 1 minute, you don't have them the next. And we'll have a look first at her Gym Crack win, and then we'll have a look at her trial, but it hasn't exactly been smooth sailing since this.
No, it hasn't. So, look, she's just the perfect little 2-year-old, just jump, run, and have great natural speed. It's a great asset in racing, and it's a great asset in 2-year-old racing where you can put yourself on the speed, quicken off it, and that's exactly what she did here. So, and, John Thompson always had something left with his horses. He's not the type of trainer you wouldn't think everything had gone into this race. So she's got there on raw, natural 2-year-old ability, and then she goes to this. Got on a wrong leg in a trial, the second trial, but Nick, she goes to Kembla, and I think she's got her supporters at ease after this trial.
Yeah, absolutely. On that second trial, I looked at it a million times, and what I came up with personally was I think she was trying to find the rail. That was how I looked at it. I'd like to hear your opinion on that as well. But this trial, Zach never let her head go. He just made her hold her action to the line, and yeah, she's back ready to go. And that first up win was very impressive.
I think she's helped on Saturday with the scratching of North England, because he was going to really pour some pressure on there to try and clear her. So I think it's a big scratching for her advantage.
Yeah, it does look a nice map for her to potentially get a degree of control. So we'll have a look at West of Swindon now. On the topic of maps, he should get every possible chance just parking in behind the speed, and he wasn't afforded that luxury going back to the Golden Gift. And you can probably make an argument here that had he drawn a barrier, he may have won this race.
I agree. He had a lot to do, and for a raw horse having his first start, and I thought his effort was sensational. He trialled well coming into this race. He's another one of these big, strong, similar to Wootton Bassett. So who's come on more from one run to the next, I don't know. We'll learn more about him on Saturday, but I think he's looking big odds.
Yeah, the more I think about Saturday, especially with the scratching, I'm starting to lean towards his way, because he had the pace of Bice against that day as well, and he just ran very fast sectionals. And I like this trial because the gap, he copped a bit of a bump there, but he just kept it together and kept his mind on the job. When the gap's there, I always like 2-year-olds when they want to sprint through it. He wants to do that. He maintains a solid enough finishing speed to the line, but it's over the 10-50 metres as well. So I think he's going to be up to the mark well enough on Saturday, and he's going to be smothered away, doing no work and get the last crack.
Yeah, I liked that he was put in between horses there, just toughens them up a little bit. Some horses get a little bit shy for the first time when that happens, so that'll do in the world of good, that trial, just being held up between runners there.
And is this the wildcard runner? So we'll have a look at the trial of Gambler. So he returns to the races 2 stone lighter than what we saw at Flemington, where he didn't cover himself with glory, but he's had 2 trials back. This is the latest, and he's looked particularly sharp, Duff.
Well, he won his first trial by 6 or something, and then he does this. They tried to ride him back a bit, but look at him go when he just gives him a little bit of leather here. He sprints quickly. So if these would have been the 1,040 metre trials, then I'd be really talking him up.
That's how I looked at it. The 740, the 790, I always have queries over those trials. But I agree, the gelding operation, and I'm always very forgiving of horses the first time down the Flemington straight as a 2-year-old. I can always put a line through that as well. So Well, it'll be interesting to see how he runs on Saturday.
Yeah, if that pattern in the first few races suggests that it's no disadvantage to be up on top of the speed, he might give some cheek. So we'll move along now to the Blue Diamond. That's on Saturday at Caulfield, and a lot of the talk going into this race, guys, is how open it looks this year, and the market suggests as much. So we've got a $5 favourite field of play, tempted $6.50 for Godolphin. My Gladiola, looking to bounce back from last start, having been rolled at the short odds. Cherish Me, $7. Palm Angel, $8.50. So there's going to be a lot of differing opinions in this race.
Yeah, I'm not so sure it's that wide, to tell you the truth. It's I think this colt here, Field of Play, is a pretty strong horse. What I've seen of him so far, and his times of when they shaped up against the fillies the other day in the lead up, and they've paid a late entry fee for him. So I think there's a fair bit to like about him.
Yeah, we can have a look at Field of Play now, and you can speak to him in more detail. So he wins here, and you're giving him a good push there, Duff.
Yeah, I think there's upside with it. Look how big and strong he is, and his first win at Moonee Valley was a beauty. I know it was a low-key race, but there's something about him I like, and I think there's more upside to come. So my eyes are for him out of that race.
I agree. I can't understand why he's $5. The time he ran was 3 lengths quicker than the fillies edition. They had a faster back-end section as well. The margins were greater, and you're getting $5 about him. He always faced breeze. It's a solid effort for a 2-year-old. $5, I think that's definitely worth a bet.
There you go. I'm trying to make the case that it's an open race, and you two are just pile into the $5. Easy as that. So we'll have a look at the fillies edition now. Can you make a case for the fillies to measure up against the colts, regardless of the clock there?
The only case I want to make is for the beaten favourite, My Gladiola. She was just too good at her first start, and I think the fence may have gone off a little bit late on this day, and they're going to have a try and ride her quieter, which may spring her into action, because I think she's got something. Obviously, on face value, disappointing here, considering the profile she went into this race with. So, look, I've got a probably third pick in the race, just on suspicion.
Yeah, I think just everything went to plan for Palm Angel there, and I just kept coming back to the clock there. They're going to have to really step to get to those colts.
Well, we're going to see a blend of the Sydney and the Melbourne form lines there for the 2-year-olds. So the Playwright coming through the Widden Stakes. Now, not dissimilar to what we saw with Lady of Camelot last year. She hasn't quite got the raps of Lady of Camelot, who we saw just nailed in a Blue Diamond before winning a Golden Slipper. Yet she's no nonsense. She gets out in front and does her thing.
Well, she's got a lovely racing style, and if there's a few, there's some of those that can be a bit shy leading in Melbourne, they won't be shy with her. But which one of these two do you want to take out of this race? Tempted was pretty good there as well.
I'm tempted out of the race because the Playwright, she's been to Queensland, she's back again. Slight query the last 50 metres, but she gets Caulfield. But Tempted had the bias against their first up, was fancied in the market. So if I had to lean towards one of them, it would be Tempted.
I agree.
Yeah, I know, Nick, that you're making a bit of a case for Extractor as a good roughie. So he is a horse that we've seen a couple of times, and he'd need to improve off this, but you think he can? Yeah,
I think this was the run he needed first up. So he only had the one trial, over 1,000 metres, pace and biased against. But if you take him off his first up run, he ran third to North England and also west of Swindon. Imagine if those two runners were in this race on Saturday. If you step him off that effort, he can mark him almost near the favourite. You're getting $15 to find out. I think he's a really good bet around that $15. I thought that was a solid enough effort. It looks like a plan to me all along to get him to the 1,200 metres in his second preparation, second up for Michael Freedman, who's such a great grand final trainer.
Yeah, he's a good spec. I agree, he's a good spec. I like Field of Play. I think Extractor's the saver.
And you're seeing it the same way?
Yeah, the same. Extractor for a good result, but I think Field of Play should be much shorter than the $5.
All right, that's a quick wrap on the Blue Diamond ahead of Saturday. So we'll head to a quick break. On the other side, we'll chat to John Thompson. Ben Way was out there at Randwick to see what makes the trainer tick and also get an update on his gun filly, Belle Merci.
I've got to say, I've been doing it a long time now, and every good horse I've ever worked with, whether it's my own or with Bard or Dad, early jump outs, you see the natural talent comes out, even if it's a stayer. They get out and do it well, but I've never seen a horse that's done what she's done so early in her career. Just the brilliance that's there, natural talent.
I've got to say, been doing it a long time now, and every good horse I've ever worked with, whether it's my own or with Bard or Dad, early jump outs, you see the natural talent comes out, even if it's a stayer. They get out and do it well, but I've never seen a horse that's done what she's done so early in her career. Just the brilliance that's there, natural talent.
John, for starters, thanks very much for sitting down with us. So, 4th generation, you were always really going to be a horse trainer. What do you remember of your dad or granddad or great-granddad's exploits?
Both great trainers. My grandfather, I think he ran second on the premiership to TJ. Had a lot of, good handy horses, won Sydney Cups and things like that. But before my time, I was too young. And then my father, he was always pretty much a private trainer for Don Story and Jack and Bob Ingham. Trained for them for about 20 years at Rose Hill, and then moved to Warwick Farm and built Crown Lodge, which is massive stable, and was again private trainer for them for the next 6-8 years, whatever it was. Yeah, good experience, and he had a lot of success. I think he with 2-year-olds, he won about 4 silver slippers, but this golden slipper eluded him. He ran 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th in it, but just couldn't crack that winner. Yeah.
The golden slipper, it probably does carry a little bit of extra meaning within your family. What would it mean to ultimately claim what eluded him?
I'm a Rose Hill boy.
Yeah.
I grew up probably 50 metres across the road, so it does mean a lot.
Yeah. Well, let's hope this year is the year. We'll talk about her in 2 ticks. So you would have seen how difficult life was as a trainer. The early mornings. I can see the emotion of what this slipper win would mean to you, by the way, and I hope that we get to celebrate it this year. Tell us about some of the hardships you witnessed and why you decided to kind of push through and pursue it as a career yourself.
Yeah, well, I probably resented it early because it probably took my father away growing up, but it's addictive. Once you get used to horses and working with them, what's that saying? Find something you love and you never work a day in your life. So that's sums up racing. Once you start, you get attached to horses, and you have a bit of luck with them, and it's a thrill.
Belle Merci ends up in your hands. How did that happen?
Yeah, I trained for the owners, the breeders, the Ferguson family, Andrew and his boys. They liked my feedback and my reporting, etc. So yes, they were kind enough to give me Belle Merci. 6 months before she came, Andrew Ferguson said to me, "Oh, I've got a nice filly for you." So yeah, that sort of gets you excited. But yeah, I'd be chuffed to be able to pay him back.
She just stood out. Did she stand out size-wise? Was it her maybe race nous before she'd even had a run? What was it?
I'd say just a natural instinct to do it. And that group of sort of 6 horses, 2-year-olds we had at the time, have all gone and performed well. Open Secret and the likes. And she was just the leader of the pack. Anything you asked them to do, she was there, just ready to do it.
Speaking of leader of the pack, where's she best ridden in a race?
Head forward.
Yeah.
Definitely. She's got natural speed. Yeah, it's just you just got to go with her and let her do what she wants to do.
We've seen Out of the Gym Crack, OLA and Memo. You must have sat watching the Magic Millions with a big smile on your face, thinking that form has stacked up.
Yeah, those 2 fillies have been brilliant. They've quinelled both the Magic Millions races and franked the form. And then, of course, the filly of Gay and Adrian's that come out and won on the stakes race on Saturday. Bellazine, the Zusain filly, she ran in the Gym Crack as well. So, good form line.
A few of us were drawn to her trials, and understandably so, one of which caused some alarm to plenty of us.
To us all?
To us all. So tell us exactly what happened and whether you were panicked having seen it.
I was definitely panicked because it was a shock. Probably more shock to Chad than anyone, because she's been so straightforward. It was the first trip away from Randwick to another track to do anything. And I think she just got a bit lost. She had the outside barrier, she went around the field deep, and when she sort of left the rest of the field to go after the leader, she just wandered a bit. And in hindsight, I think Chad would have corrected her because he had his whip in the left hand. He would have pulled it through and straightened her up. But being who she is, as afterwards he said, "Oh, I didn't know if you wanted me to do that." But sort of what he did by grabbing hold of her just made it worse. But we were confident it wasn't going to be a problem. You know, obviously alarm bells rang, but we fully checked her out and there's nothing wrong with her. Right. But therefore, we did make the decision we wanted to take her away from Randwick again to give her another trial, just for that experience education, which we took her to Kembla, and the story was a lot different with a good positive result there.
And she comes down towards the winning post and wins the trial effortlessly. There's Belle Mercy winning by about 8 lengths.
Let's talk targets. So Silver Slipper's the next logical.
I would have preferred to keep her in fillies lead-ups, but I just wanted to give her a run at Rosehill before the Slipper. So therefore we had to go to the Silver Slipper against the boys. But it's a nice progression at 1100, good distance to kick her off. And then after that she'll go 2 weeks to the Riesling Slipper trial, which is back here at Randwick, and then back to Rosehill in the Slipper hopefully.
Wasn't me. Saw me kissing on the sofa. It wasn't me. I even had her in the shower. It wasn't me. She even caught me on camera. It wasn't me. She saw the marks on my shoulder.
Shaggy doing his thing there in the Pierro Plate, and he would very much be the fairy tale story as we go towards the Golden Slipper for Alan Keogh and his owners. So I think here at Sky Thoroughbred Central we're going to send Shaggy rocketing back up the charts, aren't we? We're just working through his catalogue at the moment.
Of course, yeah.
Sounds like a Saturday night karaoke session. Bit Shaggy.
I'm not sure where you're going.
It'll be a late Saturday night.
All right, so 1 month out from the Golden Slipper, I guess it's time for us to at least put some early tips out there, and I think we're all going to be in agreement here. To this point, there's 1 2-year-old on everybody's lips, and to this point, he's hard to tip against.
Yep, a long way to go, 5 weeks, and things will change every week. We'll be making cases for plenty more.
Yep.
But if he puts his hand up there on Saturday, boy, he's going to be hard to get away from.
Yeah, I can't get away from him. It's just the acceleration and the closing speed he has. And I just keep coming back. James McDonald said he's going to be better on dry ground, so it might be look out.
$3, probably a bit short to chime in at this point as far as a bet, but he is the horse to beat. Roughies, what are we thinking there?
Well, this is a bet. If he runs well on Saturday in the first 2, I think he's second favourite, Nelly.
I agree with that. Yeah, I think he gets his chance if he's ever going to come out and make a statement against a horse like Woden. He gets map favours, he comes through the right races, he's by the right sire, certainly the sire of the moment, and he's trialled up quite nicely. So $17 for you, Nick?
Yeah, Extractor, I thought, just if I'm tipping in a Blue Diamond, there's $51 there. I think it's worth a spec because if it comes out and wins, it's going to be at least half that price without a doubt. So happy to have something on the 51s as well.
Fair enough. Hopefully he runs a race there in the Blue Diamond for you. So let's have a look at this week's Golden Achiever. There was only ever going to be one winner here. It was a pretty easy choice. So Shaggy, he has skyrocketed into calculations, having won there last time out. We didn't really know what to make of him ahead of this stuff, but he really put his hand up.
Well, we were talking about Belle Mercy being a natural 2-year-old. This horse is exactly the same. Pings the gates, comes back underneath the jockey, and then sprints home. So if he does it at 1200 next time, then it will be a real story.
See a real chance, Nick?
I think I agree at the 1200. I'd like to see him. But he did it at both ends, so there's no reason to see why he can't do it at the 12.
Yeah, one of the things other than the victory of Shaggy on the course, something that Alan Keogh said off the course, I think caught a lot of punters' attention, so we'll revisit that now.
Through your mind and what went through your body? Was there a chill up the spine?
Chill up spine? I could have done a nude run, mate. I was that excited.
Well, we thought we'd do you a favour, Alan, and we'd just offer you a little bit of inspiration. So he's going to skip the Todman now. He's going to go to the Skyline, and if he wins that, he gets into the Golden Slipper. So we thought we'd compile a couple of nudies doing their thing at various tracks. Now, the first of those is at the Echuca Cup. You could see some pretty excited fans there. We've got the Gold Coast.
Oh, no.
That gentleman getting his clothes off.
On the dirt.
And he is on the dirt. He's handling the dirt just beautifully at the moment. That's at the Darwin Cup, and I think, Duff, that was the last time they invited you to the Darwin Cup, and you haven't been back since.
No, and I remember a famous one in the Golden Slip at Tontonen. You weren't born there, but you should see the vision of that. No, everyone nearly fainted when it happened there.
Look at him go. He's quite elusive, isn't he?
He's a short courser.
There's no clothes.
Romantic warrior on the dirt.
Well,
he did well.
There you go, and he's done. So there you go, Alan. A bit of inspiration for you if Shaggy comes out and wins a Golden Slipper. So that wraps us up for this week. Thank you for joining us, guys. So as we march towards the Golden Slipper, that should catch up everybody in terms of where we're at as a current state of play, and we'll see who wins there on Saturday, the Blue Diamond and the Silver Slipper.
looking forward to it.
Good to have a nice cameo, and Ali will be back next week.
She will be. Thanks for joining us.